Tremendous director, cameraman. I will say he's a full one army man when it's about behind filming. And so far, we did one called Errores, directed by Carlos Diaz.
Yeah, so it's a short film that I made. I actually made it just for him. He auditioned for me. I'm sorry, let me just back up a little. I'm Carlos Diaz. I'm a friend of Carlos, and I am from California. Don't throw anything at me, but we came out here for the school district. I have children, so there's really good schools. But Carlos auditioned for me for another short that I didn't feel he was right for the part.
Humble pie.
But I saw that he was cool and good and coachable. So I wrote a script just for him. It's in Spanish. And it's just something that I thought would be really cool to make and to create. And I'll give you guys some really cool little fun facts. I know a lot of people tend to say, I need this and I need that. And I need, all this gear, or I can't do this yet. Or we did this in 2 days, one day for day, another day for night. We borrowed a house, the outside. I asked, you ask friends to collaborate and help, and they're cool people, and so it was done really quick. The funny thing is that the way we rehearsed, I was never there, so because Carlos lives in Austin, the other actor lives in Houston, and the actress lives in San Antonio, so they all rehearsed on the phone. But it worked. That's the only way. They were committed. They were willing to do it and then come together. And when we came together, everything was pretty quick because they knew their lines and they were comfortable and they were able to project that. So
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
When you know your lines and trying to do something quick and short and don't have a lot of money, does the shoot go faster?
I think I would say yes, but when they know their lines, it's more like they're not acting anymore. They're the character now, so they can they flow. They can mess around with it. They can bring in a little bit of Carlos and then show the character. And like the other gal, Emilce, she became that character. And the older fella, Genaro, not older, but older guy,
Right.
but he became this other dude. And he's a really, really nice guy, very soft-spoken.
Really good. It's really good.
But like on the film, he's intimidating and mean, and he'll kill you, but he's really, really nice people.
Yeah, I mean, and also one of the things that I always love work with Carlos, like anytime, any day, it's like, I don't know if we pretty much have always like the same eye. We always have the same thinking about it, on set. What do you want? Well, I want this, okay. And it's for me, I don't know if I can read his vision, and it goes so smooth. And when he's casting, like I said, Milce and Genaro, they're really good actors, and kind of like we fit so good in the role that it makes it so simple. Boom, boom. That's it. I was so surprised. Like we did it, like he said, like in 2 days. It was, and on YouTube we had some reviews that he called me like, dude, we got some review on YouTube. That like, who are these people? I'm like, I don't know from where, and they love it. Like, cool, dude. Like, let's make another one or something, or before and after, whatever. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. And
yeah, it's all new to me, so it's kind of cool to get recognition like here or anybody else. So it's just really cool, and I appreciate all the good feedback and even the bad feedback, because you learn from that stuff too. So.
Excuse me, we have a question from YouTube, and this is new. Did you still take some time out for blocking, and did that trip up the flow they already established when rehearsing? And this is from Brandon Torres. He says he knows you guys.
Brandon Torres.
Oh, yeah. I know him.
The infamous Brandon.
Yes.
Torres.
My $5.
Torres knows Carlos Diaz.
Okay, Brandon. You know what? I'm gonna go back to, because they knew their lines and they knew what was going on in the scene. The blocking and stuff was maybe just, okay, stand here. When you get to that rock, look at him. It was like that. But because they knew the characters and they knew what they were gonna do, I think it just kind of came out of them naturally, which is pretty cool. But no, there wasn't much time to block. We were at a park, and I was told that we needed permission.
No,
we didn't.
we just do a quick guerrilla
Yeah,
style.
let's just
go
show
for it,
up,
boom,
you
boom.
know, and do this quick, you know, guerrilla style, you know, just show up and do it.
Here's the
and go.
reason why we're laughing.
You get it right. Yeah.
I have a question, and just for the cut, when I asked the question, if you could like reflect it. So if how am I trying to say this? Okay, I'll just ask the question. For those of us who have not seen the movie, what is that movie called?
Errores.
And can you explain to us the premise of, what's the plot of the movie? What is it about?
Sure. It's a short film, so in a sentence I can tell you the whole thing. But
There you go.
It's a hitman for hire, and he realizes he's been doing so much work where his conscience kind of gets the best of him, and then it's like the last assignment that he went on was he took out somebody that he knew, afterward. Well, wait a minute, there was nothing wrong with this person, and the guy, his boss, it's like, well, we all make mistakes, and he kind of blows it off. But I guess that's where the calluses were coming off.
Mhm.
He was kind of being seen that more to life and killing people, especially people that didn't deserve it. So I don't want to make it sound like it's way deep, because when you watch it, it's
Right.
it's like it's a short. It's just it's got.
And for those who doesn't know, sorry, like errores in Spanish mean mistakes. It's like some people are like errores, but it's a character that I guess I always get those kind of role, hitman, bad guy, whatever. And when I saw this, wrote the script, and like, wow, I really love it. And at some point, bring a message. The world, unfortunately, we live in now, and just make sure we don't make mistakes.
No.
Let's go for it.
But it's not that deep.
Right.
Right. Okay. Now, as an actor, working with this director and producer, how did it feel knowing that someone that is familiar with this filmmaking process took the time to write or construct this project specifically for you, like tailor make it? How'd that make you feel?
I was really, really flattered, and the first one that I went for, Humble Pie, I really love it. I like, darn, I wanted to be that one, and then we keep in touch. And when he said, "Dude, I got a short for you," I'm like, cool, I'm always open to work in any character, and especially for a friend or whatever, let's work it out. But then when I find out I was gonna be one of the main characters in such a big role, you're like, cool. I was obviously so content, and I wanted to do the best job, especially for him, because this is something that we can find out later on to move along and keep working together each other. And every time you have something for me or for him, whatever, it doesn't matter what kind of role I'm gonna get, I'm always gonna try to do my 100%. After that,
I mean, you have somebody like Carlos who calls you every day. I mean, you have no choice but to write something. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but it's good. I also want to say it's another project different, but I'm so glad because Carlos, it was my cameraman. I wrote one about boxing, the fight of my life, and I asked him like, dude, right now, this is kind of like pro bono, always money wise, always an issue, and like, dude, I'm down. I'm like, hopefully looking forward so you guys can see his work. I say like after that one that I met with him, and like, dude, you're the one. And if someone want to look forward to work with awesome dude, he's the man.
Okay.
Last question from me, anyway. What will you be working on next, and what will you be submitting to Austin Action Fest 3? Go.
I have a upcoming project. It's called In the Hearts of Men. It'll be a new thing. I don't consider it a fan film, but I'm a fan of The Shadow,
Mhm.
and this particular story, it's going to be it's a story about a mom, and her son's favorite comic book hero is The Shadow, and something happens to them, and she wants to do something about it. She's not getting the help, or she feels that she's not getting the help that she deserves. So she wants to be that superhero that moms are. So she will take on this form of the Shadow. to do what she must for her job. So hopefully, for the next time, that should be ready.
Okay.
Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate
a
it.
question about the sequence where you have the gun. You guys are in the park, right? Like a public area. I see cars pass by.
Right.
Like, what was that like? How did you get that by? Did you steal that shot, or did you get the permit? What was the situation?
It was something like, let's see, I was a little bit kind of worried because, we were in the park and ladies, walking their dog, the kids, I don't know, hopefully let's do this real quick before they start running away,
Yeah.
But, and then Carlos, I said, well, let's just do it real quick. And it turned out pretty good. I guess the park wasn't that full that day.
It was nerve-wracking, man. It really was nerve-wracking because there were moms and their little kids and whatnot. But the cool thing is that I had my son, and even though I said, hey, stand over there with the reflector, that way, they'll put that. Even though we weren't using it, there he was, and he's like nervous too,
So are you saying that you use your family for humiliation?
Yeah. My
It's
son.
going to happen again.
Yeah, exactly, right. So that it was just done, click, okay, let's go, and just kind of taking the sweat off,
Awesome. Anybody else have any questions? Alrighty, well, thank you guys so much. Play ourselves a little trailer.
Wells, who was the original bad guy in Commando, and that was the trailer that sold him on the project. But we flew him into Austin for one day of shooting, and he had a little cameo scene at the end of it.
Ben, where's the new trailer? You should have showed that.
Show the more like fun.
What the hell?
That's probably the one. I actually totally forgot about that trailer.
What do you mean?
I just hadn't seen it in years.
Where is it? That one?
No, that one we just watched. Yeah.
Yeah, we got Vernon Wells, so that was
Yeah.
really cool. So we got like a
Yeah,
big
he was
name actor.
Great guy to work with. Like really, he was like 71, I think.
Yeah.
Could still do 80s punching and kicking, and like fell right back. It was surreal putting him in the old costume that Bennett wore from Commando.
Yes, if
He
you loved
loved it.
Commando, if you guys loved Commando from the '80s like we did, we brought Bennett back to life. So that's pretty cool. We did it a very cool way too. It's believable enough for the hokiness of what we did. So
Yeah.
we brought him back at the very week. We just paid for a one-day shoot with him.
Yeah.
We basically paid him $1,000 to shoot for like
$1,000.
4 or 5 hours. And
I wish I for more than that, but it wasn't.
we told him
He
4
was
or
cool.
5 hours.
He was cool with the 16-hour day, but we didn't need it.
So we had him come in, and we shot him at basically one of our last shots for the movie, really.
Yeah, it was one of our last shoots.
And it's the end of the movie. We bring him back to life, so it really worked out perfectly. And funny enough is there's a guy across the hall, a guy named William Instone. He's an independent filmmaker, and I met him. I met him before I met you, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think I met him.
Yeah,
So I came to Austin
yeah.
I came to Austin in '09, and I came to turn my hobby into hopefully something that could either earn me some money or make something really bigger than my home videos. And I bumped into I call him Dr. Goth. That's the nickname I gave him. Because he's always, back when I met him, he used to wear eyeliner, and he had black hair, and he had black clothes and big, lift boots.
He's still goth.
He's
So-
exactly the guy that he looks like. He likes all the things you would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A guy who looks like him
Yep.
would like. So.
Yeah, he put Vernon on our radar because
Yeah.
he was tagged in a picture on Facebook with Vernon Wells in San Antonio at some comic convention, and we were like, this guy's in the States. We thought he was in Australia. But he lives in LA, and he told him about our project, which at the time we were kind of pushing as like a parody sequel to Commando, which is basically what it is. And he was like, yeah, just have him Facebook message me. And I did that a little bit and didn't get any response back. And then when I had this trailer cut, I sent that to him, and he was like, yeah, sure, sounds great. And flew him in and got it done and shot it. And it went pretty well. And then we hired Dr. Goth as Vernon Wells' assistant for the day, because it was the one day we actually crewed up and actually had some crew on hand, because we shot this film with like nobody. I mean, it was basically me or him behind the camera and maybe a little bit of help here and there. But
Yeah, so that was really interesting to have all that line up. That was really kind of a really a miracle. I think I had at some point we'd always have production meetings, and we'd just throw out some ideas. Because at first, No Chance was going to be a web series.
Well, yeah, it was a three-part web series at first, but we always intended to make more of it to do a feature. And we got the web series out, and we raised $20,000 on Indiegogo.
Yeah, which most of it was Jason's
A lot
money,
of
right?
it was at least half of that was our co-producer. He just poured his money into it, which we're very grateful of. He was also the guy who plays younger Bennett or Barrett, and also was the writer of the movie, and probably gets killed second to last, like stunt guy who gets, like, we have many repeating stunt guys, which is what Commando did too. So we kind of just went with that, but yeah. So it started as a web series. At some point, we weren't getting enough views, so we just scratched the web series part of it. Actually, just took it down and just said, let's just make a feature. Once we raised that money, and we basically made, I think our budget was probably around 35 to 40 grand total to get everything done. And final cut's about 95 minutes long. It's on Amazon Prime right now, and out in South Korea randomly.
Yeah, so some South Koreans are enjoying this.
Yeah, so there's a Korean version of the poster that I randomly found one night on the internet, with the Korean text, and it's fantastic. They did a kind of a recut of the trailer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if I saw. I remember going to like like when you guys are like a work in progress. Movie.
Yeah, was it at Austin
Yeah.
Film Society?
Yeah, because I know I ended up coming.
That was
out
probably
to
the
help
web
you guys.
series.
Did I do that before I came out to help you guys, or was that?
Yeah, because I cut together a 40-minute web series portion, and we all watched it there. And I believe maybe you came with Don Darrow or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Don was all over the place.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Don's the most killed stuntman.
Yeah.
For sure.
So if you watch No Chance, it's a Don Darrow drinking game.
Yeah.
Every time you see Don Darrow die, you take a drink.
First you have to get to know who Don Darrow is.
By the end of the movie, you're dead. You're in the hospital. You're having your stomach pumped because we killed Don nonstop.
How many
So-
days did it take you to shoot it?
No idea. Like it was
3 years.
Yeah, it was about 2 years of production. But we
Oh.
took a big break in between the web series portion and the feature portion because we raised money and we didn't even have the whole thing written yet. In fact, we never had the whole thing completed until like it was done. Like the only reason we have a completed script is because we had to make one for distribution.
Oh.
But it was a fun way to do it, really. I mean,
Sorry. How easily or how hard for you guys to get the prop guns, to really actually?
most of the
There you
guns
go,
are
prop
real.
guns.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
He's an avid gun maniac.
Well, not really. I mean, for the record, I haven't bought a gun since No Chance.
He's scared of the
But
gun.
I bought a few for the movie, and then the hero gun he owned.
Yeah.
We just put a mock grenade launcher on it.
Right.
To answer your question, let's be real, it's Texas.
Yeah. There you go. That's all you gotta say.
Where was it shot?
A lot in Austin. He's got some land up in Copper's Cove, and we shot a lot of the action stuff out there. And then my friend Dan has a place in Georgetown where he has like a tank in his yard and a bunch of military vehicles. And he has about 5 acres, so we were able to do. We had 2 full auto days where we rented. I know a guy who's a reenactor who owns a M60 machine gun, full auto M16, M14. He had an MP5 we brought out, and we did a full auto day. And I think we paid him $1,000 a day, including ammunition actually, to come out and just shoot. And we did 2 days of full auto. The rest was semi-auto auto guns that were mostly guns I blank adapted, which is a real pain in the ass.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Another question. Is there a scene where he eats a bad sandwich from the daughter?
A bad sandwich.
We thought about doing that, but
Oh, the sandwich.
It picks up later.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we
That's
tried.
right.
We repeated some of the scenes. There's the awkward montage sequence where they're doing things. In our movie, she's supposed to be like a 18 when she's younger, and then she's older. It picks up 10 years later.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually most of the film takes place in the 90s.
Is there a difference between what you shot for the web versus what?
About 30 minutes of the web series is in there. The beginning, the first 30 minutes of the film, minus the opening and the credit sequence, is all the web series.
Okay.
Which for me is really painful to watch because we were kind of getting our production legs then. And honestly, if we had time and budget, I would have reshot a lot of it, but we just went with it. But it's, you know, I've heard, people have told me, like, you can tell it's a comedy from that first part, so that's good. Because a lot of people are a bit confused sometimes. And it's not straight up like slapstick, hot shots parody. It's more like a homage film with some of that in there, and some you know, subtle jokes and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, the gun stuff, it's like you guys were talking about it earlier. In public settings, you know, the best thing that the best thing you can do is you call non-emergency dispatch, and you just tell them you shoot a movie and you're going to have some prop guns. If they're real guns, I just say prop. You have to be careful with pistols. Long arms you don't have to be careful with because it's your, you know, you can carry them in public without a permit. But
What's a long arm?
like a rifle. Like, so the scary ones, like an
That's
AR,
open carry.
an AR and AK, it's okay to carry those in public without a permit.
Yeah.
Pistol, you have to have a permit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were careful. Even on his land, we called the police department and told them because there's.
Didn't they come out one night?
They came out a couple nights.
Didn't like all of them come out one night, like five or six
you
cop
had to
cars?
go like shoo them away because they were at your gate, and they don't want to come past that gate.
No,
when they get a gun call, they're like, "We'll stay here, see what's going on," because they don't want an incident.
Yeah, I think we're doing like full auto or something.
We had one full auto day out there, and then we had some late nights where it was like 3 a.m, and we shot a few blanks, but not a whole lot. We would usually wrap up shooting blanks at 10. And the night shoots were interesting because you basically it was very low lit. We had a couple lights, battery powered lights, and some propane lamps, and the rest was lit by like the muzzle flashes and stuff like that. What's up, man?
Why don't you sit down and enjoy the show?
Sit down, yeah.
There you go. Good man. So yeah, a big thing about No Chance that we kind of pride ourselves on is the use of live action guns.
Yeah.
He's into that stuff. He's a really intricate prop master and costume designer, and he really sticks to detail. And a big gripe is, you know, a lot of TV shows, even big budget movies, the guns look
even Walking Dead now. It's
look
mostly all
hokey,
fake.
you know?
Some of it's real, but some of it's just fake. They don't even bother to have a weapons master. They use airsoft.
I can already tell you, a lot of this after effects and it looks bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Really bad.
Walking Dead season 2 for me, I started noticing that, and I was like, "What's going on?"
I mean, you
here?
can see it where it's like this.
Yeah.
You know, as far as a gun flash, it's like, huh?
Yeah.
You know, one thing I'll also tell you, Jim Butler is the person you want to talk to as far as Austin.
Okay.
Talk to Jim Butler as far as
For.
making sure police and legal stuff is it.
Yeah.
For the city of Austin, it's Jim Butler.
Oh,
Yeah,
we don't play in Austin.
I heard what you play with, but I'm talking about Austin. It's an Austin Action Film Fest, but yeah.
Yeah, we didn't bother with a single permit for this movie,
No.
nor production insurance because we didn't have the money for it.
But get him. As far
Yeah,
as
we could have used to, but actually not. We
Yeah.
we actually managed to get through this entire shoot with no injuries until.
There were 2 injuries. One of our actors got a rash from the fake blood we used, and then the other one was the girl playing Jenny Mantrixx got a burn from an M60 shell going in her boot.
ooh,
And he didn't notice that it was happening, and we were shooting with the red that day, high speed. So we've got this great footage of her jumping around, which
In
is
slow
now
motion.
in her end credits. But she's got a nice little scar to remember the project.
I have a shoot where
We haven't managed.
we were running around with actual weapons,
Yeah,
and the person that I'm thinking of had an arsenal basically in his 2 closets.
hmm
So I called 311 3 times. One to say, look, whole bunch of people out the streets. A week beforehand,
hmm
look, we're going to be out running. These are actual weapons, but they're not loaded. We had a armorer there also to make sure that everything's cool.
Yeah.
Day of I call and they say that they haven't received a call.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
care. They don't.
And I'm like, you're gonna have about 6, 7 different Negroes in the street with real guns.
Can't get playing with fire.
I am not looking to get on CNN. I am not about to get CNN tonight. Thank you.
I've done some shoots like pre 9/11,
Yeah.
and I was doing a World War II movie. I was shooting downtown Irving, and they have this kind of canal area that looks like Europe.
Right.
And we were shooting blanks out of K98 German rifles.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't call anybody. I just did it and just got away with it. And we were small enough to do it. I wouldn't do that today though. It's too. It's just too.
No.
So we didn't really have any gun scenes out in public.
Mm.
We shot on the Lamar Street pedestrian bridge, but there were no guns involved. It was, and no permits either. But we were small enough to just get away with it. You know.
Well, we kept the guns at Dan's and my place, right? That was basically.
Yeah, Dan's in your place,
Oh,
and
is it
then
really?
in my house, and that's about it.
Yeah. So yeah, we kind of kept the guns all on private property.
Yeah, which is really the smart
Yeah.
thing to do.
Yeah.
And when you have 5 acres of land, you know, even if you have less than that, and you're out in the country, you can get away with it. What we did at Dan's is we told the neighbors, and basically they posted on their neighborhood forum, so they didn't freak out because we're having M60 automatic fire out there. But
Right.
blanks tend to be louder too than real guns, so
Yeah.
you got to watch out for that.
We've done some stuff with, like blowback pistols or whatever.
But
in
gas
public.
blowback airsoft pistols are great, and we
Yeah.
actually have one in the bar scene where I think we could have gotten away with shooting a blank gun in there. But we were shooting there when they were open on like Easter, I think it was on Easter actually.
It was a holiday, yeah.
Yeah, but I had an airsoft gun that ejected shells. And we used that, and that was the only digital muzzle flash we put in there was those for those 3 shots. But it sold really well because you can see the glint of the shell a little bit, and it was pretty perfect.
And the city of Austin's not that difficult if you're using like public land. The
Yeah.
permit is not.
I'm sure it's
a
not. I'm
super
sure it's not bad.
difficult
Here,
process.
No.
the
We
thing
got
that
it
I
before.
thing that I ran into with looking into it was basically they want insurance. They want production insurance, and it's just really expensive. You know.
Yeah, just a side note, if anybody does production insurance,
Yeah.
contact AF@lewisofblade.com and we will plug you. We were using Fractured Atlas for a while, but something happened and we could no longer go through them because our insurance was super cheap. We had like
Really?
$500 a year.
Whenever I called and asked about any kind of gun stuff, like they were just like it just went crazy. So you know, with that, it's too. You know, assuming that's why you kind of lack seeing armors on sets anymore because when airsoft is so readily available, looks great. Only I see little details where I'm like, that's an airsoft gun because you can tell, you can see like the hop up chamber, you know, the hop up adjustment, like when the AR's open, you know. But to everyone else, it looks like a real gun.
So the moral of the story is we use mostly real guns.
We had airsoft guns, we had real guns. We have an airsoft version of the M60 because we needed to shoot some more with that, not firing. So we had, but those, it was only $300. It was like not a bad deal for a really good quality gun.
So tell us about this Kickstarter for $20,000.
I mean, it was. I think we only raised about $10,000 really because Jason put in a lot of his money.
But even that, like, what was the process for that? Like, did you guys have like, okay, we had to do X, Y, Z by this date, or was this kind of?
I mean, basically we put up a trailer. That was just a web series trailer. We had a little sit down with me and Jason talking about what we're intending to do, making a feature film and whatnot. We had some small incentives, and it was Indiegogo actually. And last day we got down to a couple of hours of meeting our deadline or our funding goal. And that was it. I mean, I think it was up for 5 weeks. But I mean, like, I hated it. Like, I hated having to get on Facebook and promote, like, trying to get people to give me money. And I wish there was a way to get off of that, but there's really not when we're at this independent level, It's like the best way that I could see, and we got, I think, one action site that promoted it for a second. And now we're kind of distributed, but we went through Distributor, which I don't even know if they're around anymore.
Yeah.
Distributor,
Yes, they
yeah,
are.
they are.
Yeah.
We went through them to get it on Amazon Prime, which cost us about $500, and then $300 to encode not the subtitles but the closed captioning. So $700 got us up there, and I have no idea what our cut of, that is, and I'm not really worried about it because I don't think we're going to see anything back on it.
You got it up and out there.
up and out there, which is basically
Yeah.
where we got to on the project. Like I did a documentary 2000, shot in 2011, 2012. It sat finished for 2 years after having several distribution reps, one of which like ripped it off and sold it to Germany out of contract.
Oh wow.
And I couldn't, and I found out about it through a friend in Germany who was like, I just saw your movie at the store. And she basically just, I think she made like $3,000 on it, which isn't big, but
But still,
it's something. And it should have been coming to me.
Yours.
But after that incident, that sat for another year, and we got another distribution rep who got it distributed, and I'm just seeing my royalties as of like this December, and I've probably made $2,000 back on it, which I'm actually surprised at. But it's been out for 3 years. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on iTunes. It's on everything, and you can buy a DVD
What's the name of that?
To Go Viking. So it's about Viking living history reenactors and martial artists, and it's here in Austin, and then the rest of it shot in Europe.
I take it most of you are like independent film buffs or makers.
Makers.
Yeah, almost everybody here. All right. Well, yeah.
It's
We're
a great
our
town
audience.
for it. It's a great town.
That's what
Right.
this is here for.
Right. So for us, I mean, hindsight, basically, we might have, I'm big into cinematography and acting.
Yeah, we're both the cinematographers on it. So we basically, when he wasn't on screen, he would be behind the camera, and we would kind of like get together and talk about lighting and setting up stuff. So we dual cinematography on it.
But like that was my passion, and so we wanted to make a movie, but we didn't really know how to make money after you
Yeah.
make a movie.
We still don't know that.
You still don't know.
Even when you shoot a movie for $40,000, it's still like it's when you just can't. If you don't get interest from a distributor, you're just you're not gonna see anything.
To me, that's the biggest hurdle for us right
Yeah.
now. Is that it doesn't seem like many of us quite. So when I first got down here, I worked at Gold's Gym, and I actually knew a guy who had a production. He was a trainer, and he had a production company with another friend, and they had been making independent films for a while. I think up in Wisconsin or someplace. And supposedly they made like 8 or 10 of them, and they were making like $100,000 worth of profit off of each of these low budget like slasher horror films. And what he told me was somehow they had gotten in with a buyer who would buy the stuff from them. So basically they would make a crappy film, get $100,000, make another crappy film. They did that like 8 times, but we never got those connections that the guy I knew did. So that seems to be how like I'm basically saying is you almost want to have that figured out before you make your movie, because you get like us where we
ideally,
finish
yeah.
and we don't know what to do, and we're sick of sitting on it because we
Yeah.
made this baby and it's just sitting in the crib, and so basically ended up finally I somehow was like just tapping out on the internet. Finally, I found Distributor. I was like, and I've done that like countless times. And Matt's like, "What do we do?" I was like, "I'll look again." So I'm just typing. So I find Distributor. I was like, "Well, this is it. Do it. Do it now. Come on. Get it out there. Quit screwing around."
If the school runs to get to the chopper, you gotta stop it. Just bring it down. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
You get the cutscene. Go get
Cutscene now.
That's better for you.
Who?
Yeah.
Who's your daddy?
He's dead. What is
Right. Valhalla. Go ahead.
You guys ever hear from, I don't know if he's still alive, but Mark Lesser?
We met
Speaking
him.
of the devil,
actually.
we met him.
We went and crashed a screening of Commando at the Alamo when we only had the web series done.
Yeah, was it done?
It was done, yeah.
So we had 3 episodes?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is
He was dressed up as Arnold, and Jason was dressed up as Barrett. And
he got a giggle. There's pictures of us.
Oh, there's
and
pictures of us
He's
together.
happy.
He gave me his card. Was really interested in it.
That's
I reached
cool.
out to him a couple times, and when we talked to Vernon Wells about him, he was like, "Why would you want to work with that asshole?" Like, he was like, he's been around out of Hollywood at this point. But
Yeah.
I looked at his production companies, and they just had a bunch of garbage, basically, which is really disappointing for a guy who's basically made like I think 4 or 5 Hollywood
Decent stuff.
like blockbusters.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we actually met him. Isn't that
Yeah, we met
crazy?
him.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, so it was just strange
I thought it was
secret.
cool until you-
Strange synchronicity to meet the director of Commando,
Yeah.
to get Vernon Wells in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And that was before Vernon too.
That was way before
Vernon wasn't on our radar at all until we saw that stuff that Dr. Goff.
Well,
had-
no,
had
remember,
with-
I was going to say is we had several production meetings. I was like, man, what if we got Vernon Wells at the very end of the movie?
We just were like, well, it's
We're
not
just
do- it's not
brainstorming,
doable. Yeah.
and we had it out there. And then one day, Dr. Goth calls me. He's like, I met Vernon Wells, and I told him about your project. He said he'd be down. I was like, are you serious? So we got him on the horn, and sure enough, he jumped
Yeah.
on it. And I was like, wow. So, you know, I guess right now I'm kind of hopeful to pull like a Bruce Campbell situation. You know, like this goes some sort of weird, takes a minute, it's simmering for 5 or 8 years, and maybe gets a little bit of a cult following because now it's on Prime and people can see it. So I'm just hoping that some sort of behind the scenes gears are happening for us that we can't see. But that's about as far as the manipulation that I can see me pulling
Yeah.
on strings to make anything happen with the project.
Like we just got our first review, this week. Yeah, it was all right. It was a decent.
No, it's a
review.
good review.
But,
I'll say it's
you
all
know,
right.
we
It's
need-
good.
we
It's a
need-
good
we
review.
need more reviews. And,
Go review No Chance on Amazon.
Yes.
yeah, right. Go give us some stars. And give us a
Yeah.
kind word.
Couple
And,
quick things though.
enjoy.
One, his name is now officially forever going to be Dr. Period. Two, the views expressed by the filmmakers do not necessarily represent those of Boston Action Fest.
What the hell is so wrong already?
It is wrong. These are raw and unedited. So things get said. Just for the record, for anybody at home watching.
I.e., we say shit. So
Yeah.
No, there you go. There you go. If you talk to Dr. Goth, what happened was when I got here, I entered a film fest. Like one of the first things I did, and it was supposed to be a 30-minute comedy. I think is what it was supposed to have been. So I came up with a character called Spartan Man, the absolute defender of Austin, Texas, and he needed a nemesis. And so I came up with Dr. Goth. That was the nemesis. And so it's pretty funny. Spartan Man's mentally ill or something, and then Dr. Goth's mentally ill as well. But I don't know where that's floating at. It might be on my YouTube somewhere if you look up Spartan Man. But it's actually pretty funny because what actually kind of upset me is I don't know if you guys noticed, but Thor. Like a year ago, started doing these weird YouTube videos where he's like, "Oh, I'm drinking," and he's like, just like being goofy, like a goofy Thor. And I was like, man, that's like a lot like Spartan Man was. You know, that's how my character was. He was like this ridiculous Greek god, and so that's funny. I was like, man, did he watch my shit and steal it?
Reasonable conclusion to come to.
The delusions of independent filmmakers, right here.
I've got one question, and it's something I'm trying now remembering to bring up at every panel. We are basically, it's almost a bias forest thing. We want to make sure that we include more filmmakers, but we made it for people that don't have the giant distribution,
Yeah.
giant audiences to get attached to. When you leave this place, my hope is that you talk to her, these guys about future projects or new projects to make sure we keep this going.
Yeah.
You know, we have to, you know, if we can't do this, maybe do this for a year, you know, next year have something bigger maybe. We also like to keep it going on maybe a quarterly basis or something to where it's perpetual.
Yeah.
So my thing is that sure this is cool, but make sure you reach out to some of the people. I mean, you know, also we have a wide network of people we can contact with. So
Yeah,
in
we
that
have
sense-
we have good people, really great actors. Like,
Yeah.
we lucked out on the cast. We didn't have any casting calls. We just basically knew actors,
Nice.
and the people who we cast were like Don Dar was responsible
Yeah.
for a lot of it actually. But we just kind of got lucky and we
Take a
didn't-
drink. If you see Don Daro, take a drink.
Yeah. He also plays one of the Russians in there. Does a really great job in that actually.
No, I mean I like what you're saying. Like we are a unique breed of people,
Yeah.
and it is a unique family. But on a serious note, like I'm burned out. Like
Sure.
I've been chasing this film dream since I was probably 17. I made my first music video, and I came here in, like I said, 08, 09, and No Chance basically, drove me into the ground. I'm at the point where I've done a lot of freelance stuff and buddy stuff, and I just been driving around on my own dime. We're all broke now, and an honest truth is I'm tapped. I'm tapped out. Like this was like my last. I'm 42 now. And it's creepy. Like I feel like I'm dying. Dr. Goth is dying.
Oh, you wait. Wait.
Yeah, I keep hearing that. I keep hearing that. So it's like I'm just like I'm done. So I need something to click. Like I did my run. But yeah, I completely agree.
And that's a few years will be your bones.
Yeah, be bones. Just be
Please,
bones.
let's not talk about bones cracking your brain.
No.
I'll put it like this. Last month I turned 45. This is after 23 years of doing IT. Oh, thank you, probably Apple. It's Chilliwack, Washington. Kiss my black ass. No, I don't need a serial number. Your hard drive, you know what? Kiss my ass. I'm done. So my thing is this. I gave up because people didn't have my back. I didn't have theirs, so that's why I quit. One of the reasons why I quit the industry. And I've been, as of September, it'll be me full-time doing this, or trying to do this for 3 years. The most noble thing I've done would be Ruby for Rooster Teeth. But the thing I have, which a lot of people don't have, is a damn good wife.
Mm.
I have someone that more than has my back.
That's powerful, man. Gotta have support.
This. Oh shit, she has my back.
Yeah.
She is she's my bitch. She's my ride or die bitch. Let's be real.
Tell her every day. Tell her every day how much.
She's my ride or die bitch. But
Yeah.
don't get this twisted though. I'm her ride or die bitch too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gotta be.
That is, I'm dead serious.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, is what I get to do what I do today, and I got a lot more to go.
Yeah.
Good. We salute you.
But
Pick up the torch.
But I say that to say this. I say to say this. If you're up to her, because I married a normal person, because I have less than a year to make sure she sees something tangible.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be 50 in 5 years. So when you're 50, you're not supposed to be doing non-50 stuff, right?
That's right.
So I'm gonna make more than 50 to prove that she don't take 50 cents out of my ass. So I could get up.
Feel me.
Yeah.
So I actually,
Zaria has a question.
Yeah.
What do you think would take, what type of project would it take for you to get your passion back where you don't feel burned out?
Man.
Yeah.
Good question.
I think I have to see some money.
Yeah, I think
I have to
we
see
kind of
some money in
made
it.
this film on such low budget that like we thought it would lead to sequel getting funded, and we just haven't had any luck. Entered probably 20 film festivals, got into one terrible one out in LA that we didn't even promote like doing.
Which one? Do you mind saying which is
I
it?
can't remember. I'd have to.
Was
No.
Okay, thank goodness. Okay, felt like them, so okay.
No.
But it wasn't.
I don't even think they showed it. I think they just accepted it.
Wow.
We were in the running
Oh,
for
wow.
like a best comedy, didn't win that, but I don't even think they viewed it.
Oh, wow.
So we just haven't had an exposure is the problem, and
That's what we hope
get-
Prime would
but-
do for
well,
us.
putting it out there in
Yeah.
Prime is good, but it's been out 3 or 4 months now. It's got 20 reviews. That's it,
That's
So
pretty
it's just
good,
not.
though.
It's just not.
That is,
That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that.
Most of those people we know.
That's quiet.
Probably 15 of us are people we know.
Good spilling the beans.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you ever heard of the Action on Film Festival that they have in Vegas?
Oh.
Now AOF Del Wedston
Yeah.
runs it.
It may be the one we got in.
It sounds like it.
Well, I read some reviews on it, and they weren't great.
Yeah.
No.
You
I
there.
don't know. I'm just curious, but like, since we're in a room full of like action filmmakers and stuff, like why don't we and we're all broke and stuff? Why don't we just combine the brokenness?
Well, yeah, it's
Movie?
definitely collaboration options.
Yeah,
in there.
like we have like all the tools here. We have a medic. We have photographer, like honestly, like if you are all to collaborate and make like a comedy or something, because you guys are funny as hell.
Yeah.
Funny?
Thank you.
How? Yeah.
Y'all people got that old
I salute your youthfulness, your optimism.
That was to your
But
point.
you have youth
How do you make
forever.
the money once you get dates?
I mean, yeah, that's the hard part. I mean,
Like I put in about basically because I was running, my goal was to be cinematographer and act in this, so I put investment wise about $10,000, my own money into this. He sunk in what, about 15,
yeah.
and then
well, our original deal was Jason was basically, we paid everybody. Jason paid.
not ourselves.
Well, we didn't pay ourselves. Jason paid the actors when we were doing the web series a decent day rate, and paid for craft services. I provided and bought all the costumes and props and a few guns to and ammunition. The blank ammunition isn't super cheap. The 2 Russian guns we had that I purposely bought in a certain caliber to be accurate were $1 a blank. But that other ones weren't so much, but they were $1 a blank to stay accurate. But that was what I wanted. I could have gotten them in a different caliber. It just wasn't. It didn't. The mags were different and everything.
Jason put what, 20,000?
20, probably more.
Maybe more, 25.
Well, no, I'd probably put 20.
I think
mean,
we're about a $45,000 budget, from
Yeah, it's
this
40.
last bit of money to
around
distributor,
40-ish.
and Jason
Yeah.
Jason hired some guy he knew to try to
Jason
distribute
paid
this.
for Vernon Wells because we were out of budget by then.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Jason paid for a distribution rep. He got us a South Korea deal. He cost $2,500, and then which was basically what we got for South Korea. We got $3,000 for South Korea, so it basically broke even there. But I mean, he basically told us go with South Korea. It was a $3,000 sale. That was pretty low. He was like, Japan's 3 times as big, and that could lead to Japan. It hasn't happened though, and we don't have a rep anymore because we fired him. It was terrible.
Go ahead, Ben. Ben's in this movie, right?
Yeah.
Do some shooting of some things and some following. It's a lot of fun. One of the things I do want to say is that we do appreciate you guys being so honest and authentic about the financing, because many people in our positions haven't done a feature film. There's a couple people in here who shot a complete feature, but most people haven't, and so they don't know what you can or can't do for $10,000 or $20,000.
Yeah.
And typically, when you're dealing with independent films like this, most of your money is going to be either crowdfunded or 1 or 2 people who are equity involved.
Yeah.
Which is basically what you guys did. So we
Yeah.
really thank you guys for being willing to even talk
Sure.
detailed about it.
We got nothing to hide.
That's the whole point of this. Is you guys want to know the details. How did this machine get built? And if you watch the film, please go on Prime and watch No Chance. It really does play out like a bigger budget. It plays out like a bad Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
But a bad Hollywood movie is a $3 million budget.
Yeah, it's a parody on a
You know?
movie film.
I have a question.
Sure.
So you mentioned earlier about the wheels and the gears, the cult following, right? So I think it's really cool. I love the concept. I'm gonna go watch it. I want to be part of the cult. I just don't. How is that being built? Like, are you stimulating that? Or are you?
That's the problem. It's not being built. Basically.
Yeah, we're just praying. Praying.
Well, we've just kind of lost.
Like a brush fire.
I personally have lost steam on it, but I also I took 2 years to edit it. And so I'm kind of just.
So you're burned out on it.
I'm burned out. I'll do what I need to do, but basically what it needs is some exposure, and we just haven't been able to get that.
Do you have a social media following?
We have a Facebook.
We have 1,000-ish likes on Facebook.
What about Instagram?
Nothing's on Instagram.
Twitter?
For No Chance.
So
Nope.
we need to talk afterwards.
Sure. Yeah.
Before you guys leave today.
Social media.
Oh, social media.
No, that's what the project's needed all along, but it just.
Well, tell them what our third producer went to college for.
Oh yeah. You tell him you brought it
Right. So
yeah.
only what you feel
Why don't you
Was it
message
marketing, right?
Yeah, marketing.
No, our third producer went to college for marketing, So, he's got a marketing degree. So we kind of hoped he would figure something out.
Basically, it needs some love and some attention right now.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to totally let it go, but I also have 2 other projects I'm working on